So let's walk down memory lane a bit. I'm going to give you a couple of events that have happened in your life, and I want you to give me one word to describe it and why. All right. The first one, the 2008 Olympics.
Wow, 2008 Olympics was just, I think I would say, I was blown away. I was blown away because I really just, I never expected to win. I was like, I was really just excited to be there. My goal going in was to make the team. And I was like, all right, then when I made the team, I wanted to make the finals. And I was just taking it a step at a time. I was like, yeah, I want to make the finals and I want to get a medal. But it was like so mediocre. I was like, yeah, I was really happy if I made the finals. That was like the goal. And to be able to come so far beyond that was just, it was mind blowing. I didn't know what to do with myself. I remember telling my friends like a couple of days before, we were all in the room talking, and they said to me, "So, oh, what would you do if you win the gold medal?" And I said, "Well, I would jump, I would scream, I would all of that." And little did I know that I was literally saying everything that was gonna happen, and I did the exact same thing. The power of just speaking, what you want to accomplish and your dreams and everything. And it was really mind blowing. It was out of this world. I just couldn't imagine that I actually won an Olympic medal. And I look back at the year before, and I'm like, a lot can change in a year. So it was awesome.
Wow. I love that. 2012 Olympics.
2012 Olympics, I would say, I think for 2012 Olympics, I would say, how would I say? I mean, 2012, I would say, what did I say? Let me say it first. Like 2012 was, that's when you're already aware of what's happening, in the sense that you've already won an Olympics, you've already won a world championship. And I think I went into that Olympic Games, I was relieved. I must say, yeah, because I had a lot of pressure going into that Olympic Games, and I think I definitely felt relieved walking, crossing that line, because I wanted it so bad, because I was like, okay, I need to just back this up. I need to prove that, I'm good. I need to prove that I belong. So it was a lot of things that, I was trying to accomplish, and to be able to actually have that, I felt relieved.
How about the 2016 Olympics, Rio?
2016 in Rio. I think I was definitely gonna say I was disappointed but content, in the sense, and I'll explain that in a way where I had a horrible year, in the sense that my toe was just really bad, like really, really bad. I never thought I would actually make it to the national championship, much less go into the games, because I couldn't train for months. I couldn't put my foot in a spikes. And when I got to the line for the Olympics, I was like, listen, we're just gonna do this. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm glad I was here. I was grateful. I fought so hard to be there, and I was grateful. But at the same time, you still feel disappointed that you were not able to show up 100%. But then content, in the sense that you did all you could. So all you had to do was, you felt satisfied that, okay, I got a bronze medal. I'm really happy, because I knew what I had to go through to get this medal. So it was a bit about feeling, content, but still disappointed that you weren't able to do your best, because you knew, the task and everything that was happening during that moment. So I would say definitely content and disappointed.
2019 World Championships.
Man, 2019 World Championship, I would say there's so many words to describe that moment. I felt powerful. I felt victorious, I felt triumphant, I felt, I just felt a feeling like I could do anything, This was definitely my moment, because after having my son I missed the 2017 World Championship because I was pregnant, and I was so mad because I was like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to defend my title. I wanted to be in that moment, but here am I watching the World Championship with a huge stomach, not being able to run, and it was really hard for me, I think, as an athlete. And I think that's why it's so important to kind of know who you are as an athlete, but as a person, because at the end of the day, track and field will have to end, and you don't want all your worth to be bottled in just track and field, because when you take it away, or things like you get pregnant and you're out for a year, or injuries or anything, you don't feel like your world has crumbled. So I definitely felt like it was definitely a rough time for me. Yeah, I was pregnant. I was excited to welcome my son, but at the same time, I wanted to do track, and I was watching the World Championship on the TV, and I was still screaming for my girls, and to be able to come back, which I always told myself that I was coming back, and I remember telling I did a speech, I was doing a speaking engagement, and I remember saying to the audience that 2019 was going to be the greatest comeback ever, because I was determined to come back. Like, I knew it in my soul, in my heart, that motherhood was gonna be an advantage or a superpower. It was gonna help me to get to the next level, because I was more focused. I was hungry. I had my son. I had new motivation. I felt rejuvenated. I felt like I was ready, and I came back and I started to work, and I knew that it was gonna be difficult to come back. I knew that it was gonna take patience, and I had to definitely be in it, and I had to listen to my body. And I was glad I did that, because I ended up having my son via C-section, and I knew I needed a little bit more time to get back to practice. And I knew it was going to be a hit and miss as well. And I had to be okay with all of that. And I was okay with all of that, that, okay, some days we're going to be good, some days we're going to be bad, but that's okay. And motherhood became the new title, and I had to juggle both, be a mom and also be a professional athlete. And I think I found a balance where I knew I never had to be perfect. And before, I've always strived for perfection, and striving for perfection is good, but sometimes it can be stressing, and it can definitely put a weight on your shoulder when you don't achieve it. But having my son taught me balance, and I was able to feel mellow and feel like, okay, everything's going to be okay. And then I had my son, and I came back, and I remember going to the World Championship, and I was just excited. I was happy. I felt good. I was at the line. I felt I could do anything, And I remember hearing the gun, and I took off. And listen, when I crossed that line, I knew it was a win. It was a victory, not just for me, but for so many other women, for so many other mothers, for girls who somehow, when we were younger, they told us, oh, you're not allowed to have another part of your life because motherhood can wait. You have to wait until you stop running, because it's somehow it's gonna ruin your career. It's gonna do this. So there's this constant fear in your head when it comes to motherhood, and starting a family or coming back from injuries. And crossing that line was just a victory. It was a moment to be celebrated, not just for me as a Jamaican woman, but for an athlete, a mother, a mom that after 30, and ageism is such a thing where people like to dictate to, and I find that it happens more with women than it does with men, where they somehow think that when we turn 30, we're supposed to be put on a shelf, and that's it for us, So being able to defy all those odds in one was just brilliant. And having my son in that moment was equally rewarding and fulfilling, to see the very person who I thought was gonna, at the time was gonna end everything, became the person that started everything. So, it was definitely It was an unbelievable moment.
Oh my goodness, I love hearing that. I have chills. That's just so empowering. Okay, the Tokyo Games.
Yeah, Tokyo, man, I was confused. Tokyo, I was confused because like, what happened? I literally didn't know what happened because I was ready. I changed coach, so this was my first time going to the championship with a new coach, and there was so many things that was going on, and I think when I got to the line, one thing that I think happened a little bit different than before was that my coach was talking to me so much about my start, about getting the start, nailing my start, which I've never really done before or used before because I'm like this person where usually you get a bad start, but I usually rarely get a bad start, but if I get an okay start, I think I'll be fine. But I think I was thinking so much about the start of the race that I literally had like a slight stumble on my third step, and I literally just panicked. I panicked, and then I ran the worst race that I could have ran, and I never felt I gave myself the chance to compete in the best way I could, and that hurt me, and I crossed the line, and I was just in the back of my head, I felt so disappointed in that moment because I'm trying to cross the line and I'm literally processing the race in my head immediately. Like I start running the race, I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking all over because I'm like, what happened? So yeah, but at the end of the day, I was still grateful that I was able to stand on the podium because it's better to feel disappointed standing on the podium than disappointed not standing on the podium, if you look at it in that perspective.
Good way to put it. 2022 World Championships.
Yeah, 2022 World Championship. Listen, after starting the season, I'll say fun because I think this last season I had so much fun. I had more fun than I've ever had in a long time when it came to track. And being a consistent 10-6 runner going into championship was just mind blowing by itself. Like I never even thought that was possible, to consistently run 10-6. And I knew that, okay, if I'm able to consistently run 10-6, it definitely means that there's still a peak to come. And I don't know when the peak's gonna come. And I didn't want to stress myself out by thinking that because I was running these consistent 10-6, I needed to run 10-6 in this championship. I knew I just said, okay, then, all right, I just needed to win. I want to win. It didn't matter what time I ran, I wanted to win. And coming across the line, especially being in Oregon, where a lot of Jamaicans had the opportunity to come to watch the games. And I think Oregon already had the green and the yellow stadium going. So the vibe was just right. So I think I had fun. It was energetic. It was everything. And to cross the line again, winning my 5th world title was, was definitely one of those record-breaking moments for me, and adding to the title, adding to just the story and the legacy of just creating your own narrative and finishing on your own time, and not allowing persons to dictate what you do and when you do it. And if you're able to believe something, it doesn't matter if anybody else goes with you, as long as you are willing to go the distance, to prove to yourself beyond a reasonable doubt that you are more than what persons say or what you even believe for yourself. Because I definitely believe I can run 10-5, and once I run 10-5, I know 10-4 is possible. So it's almost like I'm chasing this legacy of outdoing me, of putting myself in a position where I can evolve and become extraordinary at just my own, goals.